How's it going, Falcons fam? How's it going? It's been a little minute since I've actually popped in and said hello, just because I'm dealing with stuff here at life and getting myself back to where I need to be. But the Falcons have made some free agent moves. I want to do a bigger show on this, obviously, but I wanted to get together with the Grounders and just do a quick, hey, you like that. We're going to listen into the press conference. Obviously, everybody's going to want to just go listen to it now, but 1,000+ people are now tuning in to see what Kirk Cousins has to say here. So let's wow, we got Kirk, man. We got Kirk. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy. I'm going to turn my desktop audio on and just leave that likey. That. And yeah, Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney and yeah, bro. Like Darius Mayfield. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. Have a good stream. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Wow, you didn't have to do that. But yeah, this is $10 dono, dude. Wow, thank you, brother. Wow. Thank you so much. My goodness. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney, and we even signed a tight end at this point. I mean, the offense is as stacked as you could possibly want it to be. At this point, I mean, you could still end up going wide receiver round 1 if you're into that kind of thing. But here we go. Kirk O'Chains. Kurt Thuggins in the building. Kurt Thuggins, bro. Gosh.
Bullet Club.
Thank you so much, Darius. I appreciate you, brother. I know it came up late, but thank you. My goodness. Goodness. It'll be 7:45 soon. And then we'll get this party on. We'll get this party started, dog. Like we're all here to just kind of listen. Kind of hear what he has to obviously say, and I'll play it as loud as I can get it, but yeah, this will be interesting. It'll be interesting what Arthur Blank has to say. I think Art kind of giving everybody an idea of what his thought process was, and I have my own opinions about it. Because there's some things about the Matt Ryan stuff that's going to make me a little sour, but hope this works. Kirk Thuggins? Oh my gosh, bro. Kirko. Oh gosh. Here we go. Mike's a little too low. 1 second. 1 second. Thank you. Thank you, Fat Boy Tacos. Appreciate you. That is gonna be here. Sounds. Apologize. Yeah, properties, levels. How's that? Is that a little bit better? Now am I too loud? Too much? I need to make sure that the levels on the other one are good too. So there we go. Darius says, yeah, there you go. There we go. Super excited for Kirk. I went to 10 games last season and was absolutely tilted by the QB play. Thank you, Fat Boy Tacos. I appreciate you. Thanks for looking out, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, the Kirk Cousins stuff is interesting. It's a lot of there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. I think one, I want to hear from Arthur Blank. Number two, I want to see what the similarity between him and Stafford is to the staff. I want to know what the front office thinks about Cousins versus Stafford, and whether or not that's a similarity that they have between the veteran quarterback of Matthew Stafford going to the Rams, and the Rams staff who has now come here. They were the ones that facilitated that. They were the ones that were there that trained Stafford to 4,000-yard seasons. So I wonder if they see a similarity between him and Kirk Cousins, and that's why they made the move on Cousins. I think it's the most solid move. You can't get any more solid than Kirk Cousins, and I'm not gonna talk myself into Kirk, but Kirk is in the right system. Kirk can sling, and last year I saw a good arm, so I expect probably a good arm, and a lot of scenarios where we ended up throwing interceptions or were in a bad spot, Kirk Cousins makes better decisions, definitely, in a lot of those games that we ended up losing. So, yeah, it makes this team like a 10-win team. 10-7 is not bad. Now, if the NFL it does end up adding the 18th game, now we need the defense to win like 6 games. Oh boy, they're testing the mics. Is that too low for you guys on your end? Let me know if it's too loud or if it's too low. I don't want to be too much. But yeah, I the QB play had to be upgraded. Had to be. So.
Excuse me. Sorry. I need to cancel my membership.
Love when they hit you with the ad. But yeah. It's interesting to see. There's almost 4,000 people tuning in to see Kirk Cousins here tonight. I'm looking at the watching now. Started streaming 9 minutes ago counter, and we're up to almost 4,000 people. I wonder how many people are in the chat. Yeah, people come back in and out of the chat a lot. So, I don't know. Could be more. Give me 30. I stepped some work. Let's see here. Does the health scare you? No, Jack. I'm not really particularly worried about the ACL. The ACL, I think, because of who Kirk Cousins is and because he's not going to be running all the time, that he only does that in desperate situations or when we desperately need something to happen, and he relies on his arm more than he does anything else. I think Kirk Cousins with an ACL tear and now fully healed and ready to go, he's gonna throw some tutties, dude. Like that. I think that's one of my questions. I think I need to sit down and like ask myself questions like, what would I want to hear, basically. Like, what I need to ask questions about, like, are the Falcons really set at offense? Like, are they set? I get Algier, okay? Like, I get Pitts. I get Bijan, okay? I get the offensive line. And I get that we just signed Mooney. I get it. I also understand 110% that we have Drake London, but there's still room for one more wide receiver, and Mooney is definitely a wide receiver 2. Or excuse me, 3. So I believe that there's a way that like a Malik Neighbors or a Rome Odunze, Brian Thomas Jr., I think one of those guys could potentially be there for the Falcons. Do you think this regime replaces McGarry or at least drafts his replacement this year? Very, very good question. Very good question. That's a good one. That's a good one because the only way to trade McGarry, the only way to get McGarry out of there is by trade, and the only way to trade McGarry is to package him with something. So do you just trade him to a team that's in need of a offensive tackle, or do you just keep him and you say this is a good offensive line, and you end up drafting his replacement anyway in round 3, where the offensive tackle group is still very good, or round 2, like that. Dexter, what's going on, my man? Ace Pro, good to see you, brother. Jack Savage, good to see you guys. Darius Mayfield in there with the $10 dono because he's some kind of crazy lad.
Bullet Club.
Just wanted everybody to know who the king is. It's Darius. Anyway. But I could see them definitely drafting the replacement for McGarry. If the right guy's there. I think they probably won't do it round 1, but they'll probably end up doing it round 2, 3. Probably round 3, 4 if you think that it's going to take just a minute. Oh, shit.
Get this done, so get it started. So I'll open, and then I can take any questions you have. Does that work?
Yes.
Good to see you.
Hey, what's going on?
Good to see you.
All right. Let me know if this is too loud.
Thrilled to be an Atlanta Falcon. Our family, my wife's family, have so many ties to Georgia, to the great city of Atlanta, and we're so excited to be here. I've spent 6 off seasons here training and being in the city, so it feels like home. It's been home away from home for so many years now. It certainly is home for my wife. We were married here in Roswell. Our younger son Turner was born in downtown Atlanta on Ted Turner Drive. There's a reason he's named Turner. Is that good? Our first date was at Stone Mountain.
Stone Mountain.
I've frequented the Hartsfield Airport more than I would care to admit. So and battled traffic through downtown many times. So it's fun to be here and now be a part of the sports scene here. observed it from a distance for so long, and now to be a part of it is a real honor. I was in the Georgia Dome for the last 2 games played there by the Falcons in the playoffs after the 16 season against Seattle and Green Bay, and remember watching those games and taking in that moment. And it's really a goal of mine to revisit that moment again as a player here, and that's really the dream. So have already been calling teammates and getting to know coaches and trying to catch up on lost time. And that's really where the work now begins, trying to build continuity, because that's the one thing we really don't have right now is the continuity. That's where we got to get. But that'll be with the next several weeks, several months or 4, and can't wait to start attacking that. And I really believe, as I looked around at opportunities for me in free agency, that when a coach told me this when I was a young player in the league, coach I have a lot of respect for, he said, when the owner, general manager, head coach, and quarterback are on the same page, that's when you really have a chance to go win a Super Bowl. And
they're all on the same page.
Falcons, I believe strongly that the owner, head coach, general manager, and quarterback can all be on the same page, and that's exciting for me. And so that's why I'm thrilled to be here. And
when the quarterback,
I'll open it up for any questions you have.
And
here over Minnesota, it seems like were there any other teams that were maybe either making different pushes or late pushes for you at any point?
Yeah, there was a lot of conversations in a short amount of time, right? It goes fast, and so that's the way free agency works. But I think in Minnesota, it was trending over the last couple off seasons to be in somewhat year to year. And as we talked with Atlanta, it felt like this was a place where, if I play at the level I expect to play, that I can retire a Falcon, and that was something that really excited me. And
oh wow,
that's certainly the goal. And you got to earn the right to do that, but that was exciting to
retire a Falcon.
Opportunity here.
But how did this deal come together as a legal period started and started to come to grips that, hey, I might be on the move here?
Yeah, great question. I stayed pretty passive through the process. I've learned through the years that you hire an agent, you let the agent do his job, you let the teams do their homework, you make yourself available. But I was pretty much out of it. I was in Michigan and taking my son Turner to his 5th birthday party, and just trying to kind of live my off-season life. And
aw, snap. Something went wrong. Gotta reload the game.
The secret is out.
I'm ready to. I will roast that man.
Time with me as a body coach has really helped.
It cut out
carry
for
that
whatever
load
reason
since the season ended, and done a great job. And now I'm excited to jump in with the Falcons and with their training room and their training staff and get going. So, I'm optimistic that I can be full speed at practice before we break for the summer, and that's kind of the goal I've set for myself. But we do have a long runway, and what I've been told going back to when I first injured it was that you don't rush it, you let time, do its thing, and it's going to take time to fully heal that tissue. But as a competitor, you want to get back as fast as you can, and certainly I'm trying to do that.
Do you have to, in some ways, be more cautious on it? I mean, you're in your mid-30s, it's like, bodies, heal a little bit slower these days, like you said, but do you have to be a little bit more cautious and kind of, I guess, try to be smarter with it than maybe you would be 10 years ago? Or?
No, I don't think so. I think you just respect the process and you're diligent and thorough. And
why are Atlanta sports peeps just the worst?
Listen to your body. I think as an athlete, you're used to
I'm one of them
having to
too.
work through things
I admit it.
and know how your body's handling day-to-day activities. So it's been a positive process. I expect it to continue to be, and we just got to take it one day at a time. It's kind of been the phrase I keep saying since I got hurt, and we'll keep doing that.
Hey, Kurt, just to follow up on that, can you put a percentage on where it is strength-wise, and also just give us some indication on what you're able to do now versus, say, a month ago in the progress?
Yeah, I don't think I can put a percentage on it. It wouldn't be a helpful enough number for me to give you, but I do think that I can take drops. I can play the quarterback position, if you will, throwing the football. I think the minute I would have to leave the pocket is where you would say, yeah, he's still recovering from an Achilles. But taking drops, making throws, that's really no problem at this point.
And what was the situation in terms of passing the physical? Was there any apprehension about that?
Yeah, no, no. I think certainly the physical
Matthew.
was outside of the Achilles. You know, everything else passed as expected, and then obviously the Achilles doesn't pass right now, and then you expect to here in the next few months.
Kirk, you talked about the owner, the general manager, the head coach, kind of being on the same page. How did those figures and others earn your trust?
Man, this is so scary.
Sign and seal this deal?
Yeah, I think you know, in this league, when you've been in it 12 years, you learn about people without having necessarily directly been around them, and you know, you can certainly do your homework as well. And so Raheem, I was around for 2 years in Washington, and was just so impressed with him as our DB coach. He would walk down the hall to the quarterback meeting in OTAs, and I was a rookie and didn't know what was normal, but that wasn't normal for me before that and wasn't normal after. But for a DB coach to walk down the hall, and now looking back, when that room was Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, Sean McVay, he had good reason to be walking down the hall, but I would put him right in that category. And as I look back,
That's unfair to say, Darius. that's unfair. I'm just trying to get through this and then put my thoughts out. So like you can't say stuff like that.
I think, you know, he was one of the original people there in the room with those other names. And the fact that I was in that room too, the chance to get back with someone from that room was a real thrill for me. And then I called Drew Brees and I said, Drew, you know, I can't talk to teams. I can talk to you. And you worked with Terry for 15 years.
Wow, he talked to Drew.
You know, talked to me about him. And Drew just raved about him, about his football knowledge. And I think it shows in the roster he's already built here. And then also got a lot of positive feedback on Mr. Blank. And I just started putting the piece together the best I could. And I really liked what I was learning.
Kirk, you mentioned the roster. What are the strengths of this roster offensively as you see them?
Well, I see playmakers on the outside. I see an offensive line that's talented, that's played together, that's well coached. I see good people. You know, you win with people. And I just see really good people who want to do things the right way. They want to put the work in. They want to be coached. And I'm just thrilled to be able to be a part of this group and to go chase a common goal together. So I do see a lot of ability.
Kirk, Bailey Burmaster, Atlanta News First. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Bailey.
The staff has talked a lot about what they want in a quarterback, proven starter. They named things after things. Raheem, in depth, talked about wanting a guy that fits Atlanta, the culture of Atlanta. I know you list all of the connections.
Sure.
Here, but
I'm not worried about the
What
injury.
would you say to Falcons fans that you fit this culture, because they're looking for that guy to come in here and play the way they want the Falcons to play?
No doubt. No, my father-in-law wants the Falcons to play the way they know the Falcons can play. So, and I've sat there on the couch next to him on a bye week as he cheers for the Falcons to play that way. So, you know, I think you have to be process-oriented. You have to be hardworking. You got to be humble and hungry. You got to be a great leader. You got to serve your teammates. You got to build relationships. Those are all the things I'm trying to do. It's a formula that has worked for me since my junior year of high school, when I first began this football journey, being recruited. So I'm going to be the same guy I've been through that whole process.
Oh,
and,
you don't
I
have to do
believe
such
that,
a thing. Such
what's gotten me here to this
silliness,
point will
but thank
serve
you.
me well up ahead.
Thank
and,
you if you
you
do.
don't do it alone. And you got to do it with the people around you. And again, that's why when you get here and you look around, you think, boy, there's great people here. And it's not just the football team. I mean, I'm looking at the support staff, yesterday, calling our head athletic trainer, talking to our head of PR. I'm thinking, we got good people here. And that's exciting to be a part of.
You mentioned being passive, fairly passive in the process. I wonder at what point do you step in and start making the decision, and what's the final factor in that decision?
There is no final factor. I think it's multifactorial. I think you got a lot going on. I think it goes quickly. I think the decisions somewhat make themselves. You just, you know, observe what doors are opening and what doors are closing, and that kind of helps inform you to make a decision.
What's the timeline? You can give us an idea of when that decision was made. I mean, when did you know you were leaving Minnesota, and when did you know you were going to Atlanta, if those are two different?
Yeah, I think my agent called. I was getting out of a bodywork appointment. My agent called and said, you know, basically that I's have been dotted, T's have been crossed. He was ready to put it on social media, and he's just one last check-in with me. And I said, no, I've been passive through this process to this point. I'm going to be passive here. I trust you, Mike. We've worked together for over a decade. If you're ready, I'm ready. And at that point, you know, he put it out on social media, and my phone
He
suddenly had
rides
200
the
text
wave.
messages. So,
Interesting.
And then we hit the road shortly thereafter and road trip from
He
Michigan.
just
down
rides
here,
the wave.
You know, that was a time for me to make a lot of phone calls, both saying goodbye and then also
Passive.
introducing myself to a lot of people here in Atlanta.
So that morning, in your mind, it could have gone, when you woke up that morning, could have been either outcome for you.
I think so, and I think that's what the league is. I mean, I've learned NFL stands for not for long, and you don't really take anything for granted. You get to work every day, and you're always aware that nothing's promised, nothing's guaranteed, and so I don't, tend to get too far ahead.
You mentioned coming here, and you said all the elements.
So he could have gone to
win the
Minnesota.
Super Bowl, which this franchise has never done. And I'm curious, what makes you think that those elements are in place, and also for you personally, as a guy who's put up some great numbers over the years, but only has one
No doubt.
victory.
Yep, it's all about winning.
How much are you driven by wanting to add that to your legacy, that you can win the big game and win in the postseason?
Yeah, winning is what it's all about. You know, that really informs so many decisions, and even in recruiting Darnell Mooney to come here. You know, his answer is, I just want to win. And I said, well, we're on the same page. So, that's really where the focus lies. And, you got to go prove it in the fall, but you certainly believe that there's the pieces here that you can do that.
Does it bug you that you haven't had that playoff success? Is that kind of hanging over your head that my career won't be complete until I, have a deep run in the postseason?
I certainly think that quarterbacks will always be evaluated based on not just September to December, but January and February, and that's where you want to get to because of September to December, and then once you get there, you want to have meaningful wins and play meaningful games in January and February, and that's where I want to go, and I believe we can go.
Did they come to you with the idea of Mooney, or did you go to them? When you were recruiting,
Yeah.
you kind of said, hey, listen,
No,
here are the receivers I'd like to play with.
Right. No, again, pretty passive. Let them do their job. You trust them to do their job. But they said, hey, we're close. And I said, well, let me call him. This guy's a real deal. I saw him twice a year in Minnesota in the division, and I'm thrilled that we have him.
In terms of this locker room, at least right now, you have both guys who were the stars.
So he's either feigning ignorance and saying, oh, yeah, it just, the Falcons came to me and I was just like, okay. Or Kirk Thuggins. 2-chain wearing Kurt Thuggins. Ice cold Kurt Thuggins is out here just milking this cow, dog. And he came in here and got his deal done. And he came in here and he picked out Mooney. But he's saying, no, it's all the front office. This is the front office's plan.
The both starters last year in his locker room. How do you manage that and handle that? Because that's obviously a situation you kind of dealt with in the beginning of your career.
Yeah. Yeah, and even at Michigan State, I was in a crowded quarterback room with Brian Hoyer, who's played 15-plus years in the league, and Nick Foles, who's been a Super Bowl MVP. We were all in the same quarterback room, and in Washington there was competition. And I think it's just you want to have the quarterback room be a working force together, regardless of who's in there. And so that'll never change. And no matter who's in that room, I want to be available, be a resource, and also iron sharpens iron, be sharpening each other. And I think that's what makes me better as a player is when the quarterback room can help sharpen you. Oh, it's the same way you lead any other room. You build relationships, you make yourself available, you ask questions, be a question asker. And you just understand that we're in this together. And
screw it, let's do it. Yeah.
We're all trying to help this team win, and we're all trying to get better as quarterbacks.
Kirk, you get a chance to talk to Zach Robinson. First question.
Yeah, briefly. I haven't met with him as much as I will up ahead now, but feel really good about him as a play caller leading our offense.
Do you think, is it your impression that there'll be similarities in what he wants to do and what you were doing there in Minnesota?
Big John,
I believe
what's
there
up,
will
dude?
be. I think time will tell. I think every coordinator puts their spin
Captain
on things, and
Kirk
so what
Thuggins,
was similar
yeah.
starts to evolve and change. But I'll be able to be here
Thuggins.
as we do that, and so I'm excited to just get to work and start trying to get this playbook digested. But I'd like to think a lot of the language and a lot of the stuff that can be hard early on will be something that I can plug and play a little faster.
Kirko chains.
The Achilles surgery was the first that you've ever had. So what do you kind of learn
Kirko chains,
during this recovery process?
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude.
I think it was healthy seeing
Do we have
the
a
season
meme
played
quarterback?
from a
Is that what
different
this is?
perspective, whether that be watching on TV. The first game was here in Atlanta. I was watching from a couch in Minnesota.
Chains with a
my leg up
Z.
and throwing balls across the basement floor to my son. So, you have a different perspective, and I think that was healthy. I think watching it from the sideline the last 3 games of the season also did that, and I think it makes me that much hungrier to get back and to be an even better player and leader when I'm back. And not that I took time for granted, but you certainly will appreciate it more now. And I think all of that were positive takeaways from the injury.
Hi, Kirk. Maria Martin, 11
Hi, Maria.
here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Welcome to you and your family.
Thank you. They're thrilled to be here.
You've talked about it a little bit, but when it comes to the mentality of being in Atlanta at this point in your career, why did it make sense right now for you?
Well, the opportunity hadn't presented itself previously. If it had, I'm sure we would have been very seriously looking too. But as God's plan would have it, this was the time that it aligned, and we're thrilled that it did. We feel that this is a little bit of a home away from home, and I think that helps with the transition because there is so much
God's
to get acclimated
plan.
to, and the fact that I stayed in my in-laws' basement last night like I have for 6 off seasons. It's just familiar. It's what you know. I made the drive from Johns Creek up here, and I haven't made the drive to Flowery Branch much, but I understand how to get around the perimeter of Atlanta. So that's a little unique in the familiarity we have, and I think that's a positive.
And how much do you enjoy the fact that there's a lot of young skill players on this roster?
Yeah, it's a huge positive. I was so enjoying just calling them yesterday on my drive, talking to Kyle Pitts and Drake London and texting with Bijan and
Fontenot signed this guy.
Just being able to kind of get to know these guys, Jake Matthews, Caleb McGarry. I got a few more guys to call, but just seem like really solid people, and I can't wait to get to work with them.
Kyle, have you talked to him about number 8?
He actually texted me about it, and I said, Kyle, I want to be a good teammate. That's ultimately what I want to be. So I said, if it's a number you want to pivot from, great, you let me know. I obviously have worn number 8 since high school. If it's a number you'd like to keep, great, no problem. I can find another number. So I just want to be a good teammate, and I do believe it's bigger than Kyle and I. I think the league will start to speak into things, and we'll just see how that all plays out. But
the
he
script.
was funny about it. I said, I'll write a check, whatever, foundation. I'm not going to let you just give me the number. I want to make it worth your while. Make a donation, whatever it needs to be. And he said, I just want, targets every game. He said, he was joking, he kind of winked. So I joked with him. I said, good answer. So no, it's we'll see how it all plays out, but it might be bigger than us.
Starting to have these conversations with players, who was the first player to reach out, and how did that initial conversation go?
Yeah, Kyle probably was the first, if I can remember, back a few weeks. He was recruiting, and it's always fun to be wanted, and so I appreciated that. And,
Pitts was recruiting.
He did a great job kind of leading the charge.
Going back to what you were saying about the owner, the GM, head coach, quarterback all being aligned
Pitts for
and on the
GM.
same page. In your conversations with that collective group, was there something said or a point where you got to where you were like, I know my goal, my personal identity aligns with the organization?
Yeah, great question. I think when you see Mr. Blank's commitment to winning and what he's done over the years
Give
to make
Pitts
the Falcons
84.
a first-class organization, when you see the players that Terry's drafted, when you see his experience with the Saints and what they built over many years and the success he's been around, and then I knew Raheem, and when I see what he's done and what he's been around and the people he's led and the people who have worked with these people, speaking so highly of them, the evidence was just mounting to show that this is some serious alignment here.
You were famous for your swag and the chains and
or lack thereof, maybe. Yeah.
But you feel like that'll fit in with the city? Will we continue to see that side of you?
Let's hope. You got to win. Chains aren't very funny when you're losing. So you got to win football games. But if you win football games,
chains.
I expect the city to see the fullness of my personality, the full force of my personality when we win. And I think our team and my history, the teams I've played on, will feed off that. It will be great energy. But you got to win to do that. You don't just force that without earning it on the field.
Going off that, Quavo actually took to Twitter to say there's plenty of chains here. Kirk Frost. What do you feel? Do you like that nickname?
I love the nickname. It's coming from Quavo. Great. I love it.
Frost.
I'll roll with whatever the locker room wants.
No.
So I'm gonna lean into
No,
it.
we've got a
fun
meme. We've got a meme quarterback.
The rest will be gravy.
No. Oh no. It's making me laugh because it's funny. It's like it's actually legitimately
that and the
fun.
conversations you've shared with us with the other players that you've reached out to, the coaches, is there one
And he's gonna
moment
be a
or
good
conversation
quarterback.
you look back on
Solid.
over the last, I don't know, 48 hours, whatever it's been? I know it's been crazy, that you look at and you say, that's why I'm really excited to come here.
Man, it was so many. I mean, my wife's sitting shotgun. My boys are watching Disney Plus in the back seat as we're driving. I'm trying to kind of, do the dad thing with one arm and drive with the other. But I kept getting off a call, whether it was with Jake Matthews, whether it was with the team chaplain, whether it was with, Ryan Pace, whether it was with, McGarry, whoever, Drake London. I said, Julie, these guys are sharp. I mean, I've been in locker rooms. I've seen what it can look like. I said, these guys are sharp, well-spoken. They want to win. They're humble.
If nothing else,
this could be fun.
Over Ritter.
And, I always am cautious because I say, we got to put the work in. What we don't have right now is continuity.
Every time
what we don't have is continuity. So we have to make up for lost time. Learning this system, spending time together, not just
maybe
on the football field, but off the football field, spending time together. And so we need to build continuity. That's got to be intentional. It's got to be more than just what the NFL allows us to do on the field. We got to be intentional outside of that time and make up for lost time. And so that's really where my focus will be the next couple months.
You mentioned that you were in Mercedes, or not Mercedes, in the Georgia Dome for
yes.
those last playoff games. Those are the last home playoff games that this franchise has hosted. Does that dawn on you, the fact that this organization has just not been in those situations for such a long period of time, and how do you kind of deal with that pressure, knowing that you're kind of the guy who's tabbed to help lead them back to that place?
Well, I think, every year is a new year. The league kind of resets, and I learned when we went 13-4, and then we lost in the playoffs. You don't get to go to OTAs somehow with some kind of head start because you were 13-4. You go to OTAs like every other team. And the team that went 4-13 starts in the same place you do. And so every year you reset. And for some teams that's a positive. For some teams that can be a challenge. But I look forward to the group we have resetting here in a couple weeks, getting together and getting to work and just building it one day at a time. And certainly trying to get back to hosting home playoff games and winning home playoff games just like they did that year at the end of 2016 when I was able to watch it happen and see what the Georgia Dome
offense the way it is.
The energy that was there. Absolutely want to get back to that.
You mentioned continuity. What steps you take to build that continuity?
Yeah.
What are the benchmarks you're looking for?
I think it's everything from getting in the training room and getting around the trainers, rehabbing the Achilles, seeing the other guys who are in there, getting their body worked on, building relationships with them in there, to meeting with coaches, going over the system, asking questions about fundamentals, tape, watching tape. I want to watch tape. Not only I want to see Drake London. I want to see every catch he's had in the league so far. I want to see every catch he had at USC his final year there. I want to watch Kyle Pitts the same way. I want to watch Bijan the same way. I want to study these guys, and I want to do it with them. And I want to make a cut up and say, hey, Drake, I watched this from your days at USC. Tell me about this route. Tell me about this play. Do you think this is a strength of yours? How do we work on this? I want to put the work in, put the hours in with these guys, be intentional, and believe that if we do that, we're going to like where we are as we move forward. But that doesn't just happen. We got to plan these meetings, watch this film, spend time in this building, and put in the work to where we get to September and can confidently say we haven't been together for years, but the goal is that we can play like we have, and that's what we're trying to work towards. It's going to take some work.
You said Vince reached out to you a couple weeks back. What was that first, conversation like when he was kind of trying to get you here?
I was walking through Disney World, and I think I was in Epcot in line for Guardians of the Galaxy, and I get a text from an unknown number, and it's, what's up, Kirko? This is Kyle Pitts. How are you? I said, I'm doing good, Kyle. I think I knew where the text was going, but he didn't say yet. So he said, we're ready for you to take us to the promised land. So I said, well, let's talk. So it just kind of, was him recruiting a little bit, and it was good to make the introduction.
Wow, Pitt's out here.
I don't
top
remember.
Recruiter.
I could pull it up
Pitt's
if I had
GM,
it. But
bro.
most people do, actually. Okay. Yeah, most people who text me, it's Kirko or anything but Kirk usually.
Did you know him previously? I'm sorry.
The Pro Bowl after the 21 season in Vegas. He was at the Pro Bowl, and obviously the game was played about half speed, so you weren't able to quite see his ability. But there were a couple times, with his height, you throw him a fade route or a slant, and you can see the size, the target that he is, and you think, boy, this guy could be pretty dangerous.
Anybody else?
Early, I'm not sure about that early, but in the last couple days, I've heard from a lot of guys. Yeah.
You talk about this drive that you made.
Yeah.
Over the past couple of days. How long was that drive, and how much of that drive was on the phone with people?
Yeah, my wife would tell you the whole time. I had my phone in my ear on speaker most of the time. I don't know what it was hours-wise. We ended up taking our time. We stayed overnight in Indianapolis. We stopped at the Noah's Ark Encounter in Kentucky, and then we continued on to visit an old teammate in Knoxville. So we kind of broke it up.
Why
like I
did
said,
you...
the boys had a lot of Disney Plus going on in the
Bangley.
back. But great time to make calls
bro.
and get acquainted with people. And there's a lot more to go still up ahead.
The notification will go up in a minute.
Yeah.
This guy. Thank you, Bangley.
Yeah,
man.
no,
I appreciate
it means
that.
a lot, and it's a privilege to be the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. This is a privilege. My father-in-law, I've watched him, borderline out loud praying, watching games. Not just the Falcons, but the Braves and the Hawks. He loves this, and I sit there in the off seasons in February on the couch at night watching these teams play, watching these games, and seeing how much it means to him. And you realize, man, it is a privilege to get to play for a team with people like that cheering for you. And what you want to do is understand there's a responsibility that comes with that privilege, and you're accountable to a lot of people. That I'm thrilled.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see more of you up ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that was the end.
Bullet Club.
So Bangley is king. No longer is Darius king. Bangley is now king with a $20 dono. Bangley just comes in here. That's it. I'm muscling. That's it. I'm gonna muscle. That's it. I'm taking you wide. Look, y'all. Look, I'm gonna say it like this. The Kirk Cousins identity that we are taking in, and what Kirk kind of is as a quarterback anyway, is gonna lead you guys. I think a lot of the guys that are currently in here, and gals that are currently in here, to look at this team and go, man, we really, really did underutilize the talent that we have on this team already. And so it's kind of incredible for him and Pitts to already kind of be like, joshing around and whatnot. But take Kyle Pitts, take Drake London, two guys I know he's going to try to feature up. Bring in Darnell Mooney and Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and keep running this particular offensive line. And I think you're prepared to probably put up like 25, 30 points a game. Prepared for something like that. I have slightly renewed hope in the team. I don't know how well this is going to work out between the coaches, the new talent, and the current talent. I believe in Atlanta. I believe Atlanta can win the division. I, for one, believe that this move now makes us the favorites to win the division. I bet you could probably go to any betting website right now and make the bet that the Falcons are going to end up winning the division and be in a very good I'm ready to have my heart broken again. Oh, it's so repaired now, Matthew. It's so repaired. I'll just say this: if the Falcons go out and they show their talent is better than it ever has been, and just play good solid football, Kirk Cousins is gonna win you games, man. He is. Really is gonna end up winning you a lot of games because you're gonna have a team, this kind of built team, offensive line, running backs. Current group. Yeah, I wouldn't be. Hey, man, look, I wouldn't be too surprised if the Atlanta Falcons end up still adding another wide receiver to this group. It just feels like it, man. Feels like it. Yeah, man. I feel like this team's gonna add one more wide receiver. There's still somebody. I feel like they're still gonna end up going. We need that other guy. We're gonna load up. Time to load up and like blow something up, bro. So like Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze at 8, like freak me out, That would be kind of crazy, actually, honestly. Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze and just torch the league. Just torch them. No prime times. Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay, Fat Boy Tacos, because it's you have to allow people to go so that you can continue to flourish. So it's part of the process. Can't be stuck on somebody. It's something that I think Kirk is kind of showing us too, is like, hey man, sometimes you just gotta be passive and let things happen because the door just opens, God blesses you. So but listen, tell me when I'm not saying facts. The Falcons take Malik Neighbors at 8 because he falls to 8. Or gosh darn, Marvin Harrison Jr. falls to 8. And you take Marvin Harrison Jr., Roma Dunze, and you put them on this unit with this squad with a guy that can make the decisions that cost us, make better decisions than the decisions that did cost us games last year against like the Panthers and the Saints, and where Desmond Ridder and Heineke can't outplay the competition and his coaches can't outcoach. And make upgrades at real positions. Tell me when I'm lying. I want to hear people in the chat tell me if I'm lying. If you think I'm saying the truth, hit the like button. But look, if Marvin Harrison gets to the Atlanta Falcons pick at 8, or it's Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze, hey, but listen. Marvin gets caught with a gun and some of the nose candy and falls to 8. Boy, stop. Gas mask levels of falling in the draft, dude. Gas mask weed levels of falling in the draft. It had to be something. He's not going top 3. I don't think he's going top 3. I think he's going to end up going top 6. Gas mask video. Absolutely. Can we see a mock draft from you? I will. Okay. I'm down. I can do a mock draft. Let's see. Is there anything that I could do? Let's do like this. This is going to work. Okay. Let's see. Studio mode, live screen. Let me see what I can do. There you go. And then what we're going to do. Oh, so it won't let me actually edit it. Okay, so we'll have to switch scenes. There. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in like this. There we go. Let's do it like that. And then we don't need to see out the side over there, so we could pull this in just a little bit. Huh? Huh? What do you think? We'll do like that. Move this on over here like this. Then pull this all the way down over top of the game capture. Look at us just go right now. Face cam. We're going to pull that down over here. And then you boys in the chat, y'all go up here. Huh? And then we're going to go to the chat, and we're going to hit a little properties. Pass the joint to Marvin Harrison right now. Okay. Okay. Y'all wilding in the chat. You better chill out. Bangley, good to see you. Danny Daniels, what's going on? Do you think we should have went after Daniil Hunter? I think we tried to, and he got the deal he was looking for in Houston.
Bullet Club.
Who is this? Darius Mayfield out here with another $10 dono. He ties Boy Bangley for the lead tonight in donos tonight. $20. I'd pass a joint to Marvin Harrison right now to get him to 8. Boy! I would. Gat, what's going on, bro? What's up, Lieutenant Dan? Love the content. Appreciate you, brother. You guys stick around because we're gonna go in here. We're gonna talk about this for a minute here. We're gonna do a little mock draft for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Gonna refresh this chat. Put this in the live mode. All right. All right, we're going to do this quick because I don't want to stick here all night. But this is we have Kirk Cousins now mock draft. You guys ready? All right, let's see what silliness this website ends up doing for us. May, Daniels, Neighbors, Harrison, Alt, Vashanu. Restart. Let's try that again. And this time, they better take Caleb Williams, I swear. May, Caleb Williams, Alt, Harrison, Odunze. Okay. All right. Listen. Let's do this one more time. Okay. Obviously, the mock draft simulator doesn't want to play along here. Okay, there you go. Whoa! All the wide receivers just went. Okay, let's play it like that. Let's play it like that. All the wide receivers went. Okay. So if every wide receiver goes, right, and we get no trades, are the Falcons stuck having to take Dallas Turner? How upset would everybody in here be if we did take Dallas Turner? Jared Verse staring us right in the face. Latu's here. This is probably trade down, right? This is probably trade down territory for you. This is probably prime trade down area, right? But nobody's asking for a trade here. So in this practice, I mean, it just depends on how they want to build their defense. I mean, it really, really does. if they want to build their defense well, then if it's going to be this 34 wild card defense, I mean, I'm probably taking Jared Verse. But it looks like the site is bugged. It's weird. So I'm out. Let's go in here. Oh, here we go. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes 1. Keck. Okay. I think we should get out of that. Whatever that was. Let's just do PFF. They have a superior mock draft website. I hate saying that. PFF, hire me. Let's move this over. I think this will encompass everything. All right. Falcons at 8. 3 rounds. Can't trade or anything like that. So we're just going to enter the draft. Start draft. Okay. Draft went as so. All the wide receivers went. Joe All went. And all the quarterbacks went. That seems a bit odd. I don't think that is going to be the case of all of that. We have 6 trade. We have 6 trade offers. The Broncos want to trade up. The Saints want to trade up. The Seahawks want to trade up. So let's just... We have Kirk Cousins, right? So let's talk to... who can we talk to here? Who can we talk to? Let's talk to Seattle at 16. Seattle at 16. I want 16 and 78. That's a 3rd round selection. So you don't even have a 2nd round selection. So now we're going to talk to Denver. They don't have a... Don't trade with the Saints? Jacksonville. Oh, you know what? I could swindle them out of their pick. Okay, cool. I'll give you 8. Likely accepted. Trade offer. Sorry, you don't have trades in the draft. Great. All right. So here, again, I think if you're sitting here, you're probably taking Jared Verse. You just walk. Yeah, Titans getting Ridley was super surprising. That's why I wanted to do one with trades. But we could just walk it from here. Okay, so you took one of the best defenders available. And now here you are sitting in round 2. Troy Franklin would definitely round you out. That would be a pretty good pick. You guys should definitely go watch him. He's fantastic. Roman Wilson would also be fantastic. I think that's a huge pick, especially with Ladd off the board. So, no Ladd, go Roman. You're good. Parasol is also good. That's another good selection there. Yeah, probably take Troy here. Troy's not a bad selection for you. Gives you another speedy, tall, deep threat kind of wide receiver. And since we're only doing 3 rounds, the Falcons have 74 and 79. The Jacksonville Jaguars pick there. So here at 74, I'm going to take a look at just whatever we have currently just available. I like Brandon Delores, could play defensive end, defensive tackle. We're still looking for something like that right now. Not super flashy, but gets the job done. Another guy that I really, really like a lot, Cedric Van Pran, but maybe that's a little too early for that kind of talk. So I think I'll just go ahead and take Delores here. Doorless. And then, and see, this is where it gets kind of hard, because then you're like, well, I don't want to overdraft something. So how about we just take, how far down the board is he? Let's talk about it. How far down that board is he? He is really like Kamara. Offensive tackle. Let's take Christian Jones. He's gonna pop on tape, and people are gonna really like him a lot. But let's take Christian Jones, just because then that's kind of like a setup for McGarry to leave. And the Kirk contract is actually a 2-year contract, so it's not too bad. They gave us a F for Christian Jones, a C for Jared Verse, and we took the 2 Oregon groupies and got really good grades on those. Overall, B draft. They just don't like Christian Jones, and they're down on Jared Verse for whatever reason, but whatever. Let's do one more mock from them and see if we can get one of the wide receivers oh, daily draft limit reached. Wow, PFF. Thanks, dude. Yeah, that'll be my mock. I think that's my mock. So, okay. I got to head out of here. So I will talk to you guys a little bit later. Peace, hair grease, rise up, stay grounded. We'll have more reports for you very soon. Laters.